We'll discuss calculating invariance in terms of the surgery formula.
Okay, thanks. So I will talk about surgery exact variance, but I won't talk of any exact variance. I'm bad for titles. So the situation, so when you have a Liouville domain, this is a Liouville domain, X0, there are elementary steps you can do to construct a new Liouville domain, and a lot of Liouville domains are constructed with a handle attachment, so it's pretty interesting to study because it's like an elementary week of a Liouville domain. So the picture of a handle attachment looks like this. So you have your old Liouville domain with the old contact boundary, so X0 and Y0, and there is a Legendre sphere. So the data is X0, Y0, lambda, and from these three things, you can construct a new Liouville domain, which I call X, with a Liouville cobordism, we call it Liouville cobordism, W between X and X0. So, and there is so the handle, you can think of it as dn. So this can be dn times dn, because I will worry only about the critical case, which is Legendrian. When you can do also when lambda is not Legendrian but just isotropic, but it would take more time and I don't have much. So yes, so my handle is dn times dn, and I have a core disk, which is L, and the co-core disk, which is C, and I get a new Legendrian sphere. So and when I take dt star dn, the disk cotangent bundle, my original sphere was Sn minus 1, and my final Legendrian sphere is just the unitary fiber over 0. So this is for the picture of a handle attachment. So maybe I will give a more explicit description later, but I think I have to begin by stating some results, and the questions we want to ask are: how do the invariance change? So after handle attachment. So there are a lot of types of invariance. So we could ask what is the contact homology of Y. I don't think anyone told about contact homology, so I won't speak of it. The symplectic homology of X. What is the symplectic homology of X? What is maybe the Wapt-Floer homology of C? And maybe we can even speak of the DGA, Chekhov DDA of C, of gamma. Okay. So gamma, which but unwanted because we have a filling. So so there are results for every one of these invariants, and I will only speak of this one, because I'm more of a Fukaya guy, contact homology guy. So maybe theorem A. So there exists an A infinity isomorphism. So I will explain some. From the Wapt-Floer complex of C, which is a Lagrangian, and the DGA Chekhov. So this is the Wapt-Floer complex. And this is the Chekhov DGA of lambda. So maybe some remarks. I don't know if you work with A infinity algebras, but a DGA is an A infinity algebra with mu n equal to 0 for n bigger than 3. So it's an easy A infinity algebra. So I can talk about A infinity isomorphism. It will be an isomorphism between two A infinity algebras. So this is an A infinity algebra, and this is a DGA. But a DGA is an A infinity. So maybe somebody, you must know.
Is isomorphism of course isomorphism?
What?
Does it mean isomorphism for some data, or is it course isomorphism?
Actually, for A infinity algebras, it's quasi-isomorphisms are isomorphisms. So it's
But I mean, you can also speak about isomorphisms, which would mean something. And then the structures are the same.
Identity of the chamber. It's just.
no, it's
But
not.
course isomorphism maybe.
Yeah, maybe quasi-isomorphism, but I really we have the property that for an infinity algebra, quasi-isomorphism can be inverted. So,
Right.
so I don't see much difference between quasi-isomorphism and isomorphism. So yes, because an infinity algebra is like a homotopy. Yes, I don't want to speak of it because I don't know it. But infinity algebra are like really nice DGAs. So if you want to take DGAs and say I want to perturb DGAs with homotopy, you finish with an infinity algebra which are stable. So they are better objects. So maybe. What did I want to? Yes, an infinity morphism. So let's say maybe small f. Let's call it big F, and let's call it small f between A and B. So 2A infinity algebra. It's data of fd from A tensor D, B plus some relations. Nobody told you about relations, about those relations, and I won't either. But it's pretty easy. So yes, it's just the natural things to write. So so in my case, I want to describe what this f is. So I need fd that goes from this tensor D to v. I need this, and maybe as this is some kind of tensor DGA, I need fdk that goes from that takes let's talk about z2 web code tensor k. So I just split my thing in more easy block, and I need to describe you some maps for each dk greater than 1. D greater than 1 and maybe k greater than 0. So so I can give you a picture of the moduli space, and maybe so it's not an easy.
So what do you need it for?
I want to describe what is this isomorphism in terms of picture. So in order to describe an infinity isomorphism, I need this, and if I want to, I go in the. So this is the plus of z2 have tensor k bigger than 0. So I need to give you this in order to describe what is this infinity isomorphism. So fdk will count of C1 CD will be the sum over all B1 Bk, such that count makes sense. So let's say B1 Bk equals C1 CD, whatever that means. And the count of some moduli space, B1 Bk. And the moduli space, I will draw it, but I will come back to it at a later stage, because I will try to explain to you why this is an isomorphism. So and so there are D and 3 points, two mark points, two special mark points, and K and there are boundary conditions. So I will try to. So this is the space of a disk that go in a W hat, so that go in these two domains, and there are boundary conditions like with above boundary conditions, and T plus K plus 2.
So can you explain that
Yes.
circle with
Yes.
with black, red, and green
Yes, marked points at the
mark point?
So, the black lines are mark point. The red dots are, the red things are boundary conditions. So when I specify an holomorphic disk, I need to tell you a boundary condition, which is a Lagrangian boundary condition. So I tell this segment must map to L, this segment must map to C. So as you can see, it's quite complicated. So I have T plus K plus 2 mark points at boundary, but and these two mark points, which are the transition between C and L, so I have the D plus and K minus. It's quite easy because C and L only intersect at one point. So I see that I got one. Let's say Q. This is mapped to Q. So I can do a picture, but I never understood it. So, so this is the infinity isomorphism. And it's quite complicated, but I just didn't want to tell you just there is an infinity isomorphism. So this is what this counts, and it's like it. So yeah. So are there any questions?
Yes, you want to explain in what sense, so the bottom things,
Yes.
they go from something on L to something on L.
Yeah.
So if you don't know anything, then you might think, oh, these are supposed to be red chords of,
Yeah. So C1 and CD
oh
are
no,
like,
sorry, yeah, it's okay actually, but go ahead.
yeah, C1 from CD, they are generators of this thing. So there are Hamiltonian chords of C, and B1 and BK, they are like web chords of lambda. So as you can see, I'm mixing Hamiltonian chords with Hab chords. So it's not great, but you have to get a Hamiltonian description of this algebra. So you can have a Hamiltonian description of this algebra, and then it's not a holomorphic disk, but it's a Hamiltonian perturbed holomorphic disk. So it's
Okay, so I believe there's a morphism, but why is it an isomorphism?
So I will explain later. So what's good with an infinity isomorphism is that you only need to care about the one part, t equal 1, to show that it's an isomorphism. And maybe I will try at the end of the talk, if I have time, to show what F1k is an isomorphism. So it will be my... So I just want to state one more theorem, and then with again no definitions, but then we'll do some simple things with web dynamics, and it will be easier. So maybe my theorem B. So I won't prove that, but it's kind of a consequence of the theorem E. Is that maybe there is some kind of exact triangle result. Wait, it's -1. So I just want to state this theorem because it's a nice theorem, but it's not easy to state. So it's an isomorphism. So this is maybe I explain. So this is the symplectic homology of X. This is something that's constructed from the Wapfler homology of C, and this is the symplectic homology of X null, and this is what we call the cone of the open-close map. So cone of the open-close map, which goes. So, for people who don't know open closed map, maybe this theorem is a little. I don't know. It's not understandable, and I have no time to explain this. So I just wanted to state this theorem, and now I go to the proof. So for people who understand it, it's good. So and for guys, it's not really important because it's just 5 units. So cone of the open closed map that goes from CC star of, and I will maybe say a little more to SH of X. So this is the warp Floer complex of C, and it's an infinity algebra. And this is the Hochschild complex. So Hochschild. So maybe one word about Hochschild complex. I used to be afraid of Hochschild complex, but actually it's pretty nice because you see when you take the Floer homology of an infinity algebra, you only care about the D1, the mu1. The Hochschild complex. So there is, when you have an infinity algebra, you have all these higher products, mu1, mu2, mu3. And when you take the homology, it's pretty sad because you only care about the mu1. When you have the Hochschild complex, you care about everything. So you take care of the whole infinity structure. So that's why it's a very important thing, this Hochschild complex. It's like a good way to understand the infinity algebra. So, but the definition is not good. So, yes, so yeah, there's a lot of algebraic stuff. So, but it's not. Yeah. I never. Yes.
To make it slightly geometric, you can think of a variety of algebraic manifolds in which you take the spectrum of your algebra. So you take a string of functions somewhere, and you take the product, and then you take the diagonal. Hochschild homology is exactly the intersection of the diagonal itself.
Yeah.
So it has an extremely precise meaning, and if you think of in terms of this intersection of the diagonal, what it is telling you algebraically is how many ways can you homotope, the intersection of, how are you going to compute the intersection of the diagonal? You're going to take the identity and you're going to perturb it a bit, and then you're going to count intersections. So that's why some people, you're going to hear that they say that Hochschild homology measures the ways that you can get to the identity, because that's one way of informing some functor to the identity. And that's what it is appears.
So, sorry, can you say that again? Basically, you start with what? With variety and what?
I'm saying, suppose A is an algebra,
Yeah.
a commutative ring, and then you take A tensor A, that represents the product variety, and there's a diagonal in it. And now you're going to ask what's intersection of the diagonal with itself? What's intersection of the identity? Now, right? And the answer is it's Hochschild homology. So it's pretty precise.
Is it written anywhere?
That's
Common knowledge.
basic algebra.
Yes. So yes, I think yes. Hochschild complex is supposed to count the deformations of an infinity algebra. I think so. That's why you say the deformation of the identity. It means deformation of the structure of an infinity algebra. So this is what it counts. But, yeah. Okay. So this result, one more word. It's like a kind of It's like a split generation result. So it might, if you interpret it right, you might say that this Cocker sphere, it will generate, it's not defined, but the Fourier category of X relatively to X null. Because, yes. So if X null is just a disk, this result means that C split generate the Fourier category of X. So that's it. So now we'll pass to web code. Web stuff. So.
Can I just ask one thing? So I mean, this result was announced by people like
Yes, so I didn't say yes.
Yeah. So is that what you're saying now? Is this an alternative?
So actually, this is a consequence of a result they didn't state. So, but it's not that easy to achieve because you need all the paper is using holomorphic stuff and non-perturb, and open closed map is using Hamiltonian holomorphic curves with Hamiltonian perturbation. So you have to do a lot of equivalence relations. So it was known for a long time, but it is an easy consequence of a result. if everything goes all right. So yes. So maybe.
Yeah, but I mean, so are you claiming that there is a way to do this with Hamiltonians in an easier way?
No,
Or are you just...
I'm claiming that. Yes, I'm claiming that if the result is right,
You're faulting it.
if the result is right, this is obvious.
Okay.
I'm claiming this.
So that's-
This is obvious, but they didn't claim it because maybe I don't know.
Maybe it was written somewhere.
Yeah, maybe. It's a big paper. So, yeah, maybe it's easy. So, yes, theorem A was also the bourgeois-Economic Gashbag and stuff. So what do I want to say? So I want to explain to you what is a handle attachment. So you have your Legendrian sphere. Maybe. You have your Legendrian sphere. Yes. Yes. I want to show so that WF, this is an isomorphism. And first I want to say what the generators of this and the generators of this are. So generators, and maybe F1. So I just need to show that F1 is an isomorphism. So if you recall my notations, F1 is just the application that goes from this to this, and the A infinity morphism, there are all these collections of FD, but there is a fact that A and B F A infinity morphism is isomorphism. This is equivalent to F1 is isomorphism on the homology. So I just need to look at the F1. So F1 is just going from there to there. And first I want to recall what the generators of this space are. So this is like a 2Z2 space. And the generators of W. So the generators of this thing is are one Morse point because plus web code of gamma. So I have this C, which is a disk, and I want to compute its Wapler complex. So I have one Morse point that comes from Dn, which is I choose a Morse function on C, on Dn, and the other generators are the web code of gamma. And the generators of A of lambda, there is 1 point plus words in the web code of lambda. So there is 1 point which is the 0 length word, and there are words of length greater than 1. So yes, the generators of the Chekhov algebra. So, and I want to show first some kind of equivalence between these generators. What do I do? Yes.
Sorry, how does the generator of WFC get mapped to Morse point?
Okay. So.
How can you explain again how it happens exactly?
So yes. So it's when you have your UV domain X and you have a boundary of X, you choose a very small function. You choose a Hamiltonian to compute, and this Hamiltonian must have a specific form. So you choose a very small Hamiltonian here, and then something that is linear at infinity. So here, what I have is when I do the slow perturbation that goes from null to this one, I have all web codes of length smaller than this slope. And here, I chose a very small Morse function, which is equal to my Hamiltonian. So you might recall that for Floer homology on compact manifold, when you choose a C2 small Hamiltonian, the Hamiltonian floor homology of H is just the Morse homology of my Morse function. So this is what happens here, I would say. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Good question. What is the extra point you have in the some kind of the reaction procedure?
It's just the word of length 0.
Okay.
Yeah, 0 length 1. And otherwise I have words of length
Yeah.
greater than 1.
Okay.
Just I split it like this in order to be more symmetric. So it's not natural to do, but it's more symmetric. Now how to do a handle attachment. So lambda is a Legendre sphere. So I can always find neighborhood of lambda that looks like the one jet space, T star times R. So this is, I can always do because it's a Legendre sphere. So when you have a Legendre sphere, you can always find a neighborhood that looks like this. And maybe I do a d epsilon to show that it's a small neighborhood. And this will be the set of x, maybe q p lambda, such that p square plus lambda square is smaller than epsilon square. So I have qp, which are t star Sn minus 1, and this is part of R. Okay? So this is a neighborhood of lambda. I find it like this. And this is, so we might note that this is isomorphic. So I will give you the isomorphism to so this is just a basic formula. That's saying q p lambda to q p plus lambda q. So here you see I have the cotangent of a sphere, and what I'm saying is that when I take a cotangent bundle of a disk on the sphere, I have one radial coordinate which is given by lambda, and the coordinate of. So yes. So you might think for now that cotangent vectors are like tangent vectors because I have a metric anyway. So I think like in my head I think like tangent vectors. So I don't think like. And if I want to draw a picture, I just say that when I take a vector from a tangent vector here, I just split it on a radial coordinate and not white. I don't know which one. This is radial and this is not white. And this will be P, and this is will be lambda Q, and this is maybe V, my vector V. So my tangent vector V at Q, it is P plus lambda Q, and P is a tangent vector of Sn minus. So this is just basic. Are there any questions about this isomer? Okay, I will use it a lot, so don't hesitate to ask questions. And now I have done that, you can see maybe how I will do my handle attachment. I will just, I have a neighborhood of my Legendre sphere that looks like this, and I just attach d epsilon t star dn using this isomorphism. So I have maybe, if I want to draw a picture, so I have x, I have y, I have lambda, and I have my neighborhood d epsilon t star dn respective to Sn minus 1, and I just attach like this t epsilon t star dn. So like something like this, and the other part of the boundary will be this green lines will be S epsilon, the unitary sphere bundle of Dn. So, okay. So this is a handle attachment. So now describe how I do my handle attachment. So I really attach a dt star dn. Here it's epsilon. So it might be important. When I look at what is now, if I just look not at the whole handle attachment, but at the surgery. So maybe you are not familiar with words of handle attachment. So x null, I do a handle attachment on x null and I get x, and on y null I do a surgery and I get y. So this is just a surgery is for contact manifold and handle attachments are for UV domains that they are linked. So just this is it. So when I do a surgery, so I'm sorry that there are a lot of. When I do a surgery on lambda, I replace d. Epsilon. So this neighborhood. By this neighborhood. So this is replacing this neighborhood of Sn-1 by this neighborhood of the German sphere after handle attachment. So in order to show now, I want to show that there are equivalents between rep chords of gamma and words in rep chords of lambda. So this is gamma. I need to understand what is the web flow around this thing, in this thing, compared to the web flow here. So, the web flow before the surgery, I was just in this case, so before the surgery I had a neighborhood of this. So near lambda, it was just the usual web flow of one jet space. This is translation and the Z factor. Translation and lambda factor. Yeah. So it was it. I will draw a picture now. So and when I look at it on this side, it's just lambda goes for. I just translate lambda. So Q and P don't move, and lambda Q goes from one end to, so lambda Q moves. So if I want to do a picture, I enter in, if I enter the surgery region like this, so I will, I go out. And I have, so this is like this plus this. I will go out like this. So if you just this doesn't move, and this gets. So yes, so it's. I described the web flow before the surgery in the surgery region. So after surgery. After the surgery, what? After the surgery, I follow the geodesic flow. Because so after the surgery, so I replaced this neighborhood where I just follow this web flow I described here by this, and here I have the geodesic flow. So I follow the geodesic flow. So if I enter in my surgery region like this, I will go out. I will follow the geodesic flow, and I will go out there. So I was hoping to be more clear, but yes. So geodesic flow. what did I want to do now? So this was the preliminary. So maybe I can give some formulas in order for you to, because I was not very clear. It will take 2 seconds. So before the surgery, phi t web of qp lambda is qp lambda plus t. This is in d epsilon t star Sn minus n times r, or equivalently q phi t web. So if I use v over 1 qv, okay, plus v plus lambda q plus tq. So this is in the epsilon t star then minus 1. So this is before and after phi t web of qv, like q plus tv after surgery. And so I'm sorry, it's yes, this is okay. So this is the formula I just explained. I sketched. Okay, so I'm sorry it takes more time than I expected on stupid things. So now the equivalence for length 1 word. So length 1 word. So I had to do it to explain. So I have so I take a chord of lambda, and I need to tell you how it gives a chord of gamma. So it's pretty easy. I have a chord of lambda, so it goes from this formulation. It goes from Q1 0 to Q2 0. So I have red flow. So this is an element of Sn minus 1, this is an element of Sn minus 1, and I have my red chord. And if I want to see what happens in the surgery region, I look there and I know that it will go to Q1 epsilon Q1, but then it will leave the surgery region. It will go to Q2 minus epsilon Q2. And this is the red flow in the surgery region, and red flow in and red flow out. So in surgery, outside surgery region. So I have this that sticks, and what it becomes after the surgery. So it's pretty easy. I just follow. Now I follow the geodesic flow from there and there. So the geodesic flow, what will it do? It will go straight to 0 because okay. So I think I'm nearly finished for this. So just 2 moments. So now geodesic flow. So you have Q1 epsilon 1 epsilon Q1. So you go in this side. You follow the geodesic flow, and you see you have after surgery what I get is it's like it's very nice. I got 0 epsilon Q1. That goes to Q1 epsilon Q1. That goes to the red flow, which is outside the surgery region, which don't move. Is it clear for? Yeah. Which was cool. Q2.
Sorry, you're now explaining how the rip chords correspond.
Yes.
Before and after.
Yes. So I have a web chord before. It joined this and this. I split to see what happens in the surgery region. So this is surgery region, this is outside surgery region, and this is inside surgery region. And now I will just say, let's do the stupid thing and follow this chord after the surgery. This because the red flow doesn't move after the surgery, and I do the stupid thing. I follow what happens to this thing after the surgery. So when I'm inside the surgery region, now instead of following this red flow, I follow this one, And so I have a geodesic flow, and it goes from 0 epsilon q1 to q1 epsilon q1 to q2 epsilon, minus epsilon q2, which is what we went before, and it goes to 0 minus epsilon q2. And this is a rep chord. This is a rep chord of gamma. So this is like a miracle. I don't know, because I linked gamma with gamma. Gamma is just st star 0 dn, and just without doing anything for one length word. So I just look at the rep flow and I see there is a correspondence for one length word. So it's great. So now I will maybe explain some holomorphic disk. So because we have web chords and we have holomorphic disk, because my isomorphism counts holomorphic disk, and I will do pictures. So I don't know if my pictures are very good. It's not. So I have a handle attachment, and I have two way to picture dt star dn. I have the first way I draw dn like this and dn like this, and the second way I just draw cotangent vectors. So now I will use this formulation. So it's just a way to picture it. So it's dn times dn, and I have dn and I have dn. Just nothing really. So I will redraw it. So I have dn times dn, and I had my rep chord that would go from q1 0 to q2 0. So let's say q1 is here, and q2 is here. So you remember, this is dn, this is the core, and this is Sn minus 1. So I have q1 who is here, and q2 who is here, and I remember I follow the thing, so I go to q1 epsilon q1. So this is the rep flow inside the surgery region. Then I go to q2 minus epsilon q2. So this is the rep flow. So this is what I do, and this is in the surgery region, and this is outside the surgery region. So this is the web chord is like this. Okay. So
Is everyone clear on what's the global picture here of like what inside and outside the surgery region means?
Yeah.
Shake your head if you're not
no, it's not clear. Okay.
So maybe just like draw a picture of the unknot or the Gendrian unknot or something with a rave chord, and like you have your little neighborhoods and the outside. I mean,
Yeah.
just to designate where your arrows
So.
are in it.
Yes, I see. Okay. So I have a neighborhood of my unknot. I don't know if it's no. It's not that I want to. Yes, I don't. Yes. So I have a.
Yeah.
I have a rep chord, and this is yes. This is not a good picture, but okay. But so there is, as you can see, if this is the surgery region, there is inside your rep chord. It is first inside the surgery region, then it is outside, then it is inside, and the first part is like this. The outside part is like this, and inside part is like this. So I don't know if it explains. Okay. So now I will. So now after the surgery, what I get is I get this. So and then I follow the same rep flow. So this is. So maybe I will do it like this. Even if it's the same chord here. So this is the rep chord after the surgery. And now I want to show you what, to show you the picture of the holomorphic disk. So in this, when I draw this, you can see it. So I will recall something. Wait. So my isomorphism F1 it was counting disk with one positive, two things like this and this. One positive C1, E1, and two points marked to 0. This is 0. And this is 0, 0. So when I gave you the formula, F11 was counting such things. So it's like a disk, like this, like this, like this, like this, where there is the first rep chord, C, and there is the web chord B. Yes. C. Mistake of curls. And B. Okay. So this is the disk I want to show you. So I want to count such disk, and I don't know if that's clear, but it's not clear at first. But this is the holomorphic disk I want. So let's.
I'm sorry, what are these cusps for?
Well,
I mean, on that picture, so I'm just confused. Yeah.
so yes. So you see, you have a boundary picture on C, C, L, L, and C and L are not the same Lagrangian. So you want to say that you have a boundary on C.
You have to learn.
Yes, and this is the
right,
point where it switches from the boundary cognition on C.
Sorry.
So
And C is not the same as C.
yes, this is a rep chord. I'm sorry. C1. Okay. So, I'm sorry. Yes. It took a little more time than I expected. So yes. So let's see. So I want to show you that this blue disk is a disk like this. So let's follow. We begin with the green chord. So I follow my green chord. I come from here to here. Then I follow some things that are mapped to C. So you remember I'm here. So I followed my green web chord. I'm here, and then I follow C. This is C. This is the co-chord disk. So in this picture, the co-chord disk is like this, and the chord disk is like this. So I follow the co-chord disk, and then I'm on this point, which is exactly this point. Then I follow. Then I'm here. Then I follow this part. So I go there, and then I follow the web chord in the other sense. So it's great, actually, because I go in the bad sense. And I get there, following the web chord, and then I will finish. I'm over there. Then I follow L, which is the chord disk.
That way.
Yes, okay, yes, which is the chord disk. And then, okay, so it's maybe not so easy to see. And why is it a holomorphic disk? So, why is it a holomorphic disk? So I have, wait, 2 seconds. This is Q10, and this is Q20. Okay. So it is a holomorphic disk here, because I have Q10 and 0 epsilon Q1. This is just a complex line. So I have a quarter complex line, quarter plane of Q10, 0 epsilon Q1. So this is a complex line, so this is holomorphic. It's the holomorphic disk.
Holomorphic disks that you're counting, right?
Yes.
There's
So
something weird near 0, 0.
it's yes, that's not much of a problem. What maybe?
But it could be holomorphic.
Yeah. There's a cusp at 0, 0, but it's not really a problem, I think. So
You probably puncture or
yeah. So what's important is that it's holomorphic on the interior. So on the interior, it's holomorphic. So yes, I don't think. Yeah.
but then it's punctured.
And it's the same for you. It's just a complex line. So it's a complex line spanned by phi. So yes, I don't know. So I finished the proof for one leg forward. So you saw the equivalence of generators. So you just follow the airflow, and you saw the holomorphic disk, which yes, and then you have to do the same for 2 length forward, and yes. So it's pretty much the same. Actually, it doesn't change much. And this is the idea of the proof. So yes, I wanted to show it because it's nice pictures, but yes, maybe it was not okay. Thanks. I will stop.
I missed the point. So you explained how you get new orbits that are these words on your chords. But, did you see why there's no other orbits?
Actually, yes. Yes, I show one way and why is the uniqueness. Yes. So yes, when you follow, so if you have to think of epsilon going to 0 in that case. So I will do very small surgeries, So if I have a red chord of gamma, so it must go outside this surgery region. You can compute, it's just the geodesic flow, there will not be no wave chord inside gamma. So you must go outside the surgery region, and as you tend to make epsilon goes to 0, you will have some chord that links the surgery region to the surgery region. And when you do epsilon goes to 0, it will somewhat converge to some word of chords. So yes, this is, maybe I can draw a picture. I don't know. Maybe yes. This picture would be not bad. Okay. So I have my sphere, and I have this surgery region. So where the red flow changes. This is the surgery region. And you must think of the surgery region as very, very small. So if I have a red chord that goes from inside to outside, yes, maybe my argument is not good, because if I have a wave chord that goes from outside to outside, as you do the surgery region very small, it will just converge to Sn, and so you will have, it will converge to some wave chord of lambda. And maybe not a real wave chord, but a word, because what can happen is that you can do this, and when you will go take the surgery region to 0, you will have a word in wave chord. So yes,
I think this is quite a subtle point. No? What you have to do is take some action bound, and then
Yes.
under a certain action, you can take an epsilon that's small enough,
Yes.
and then you show some correspondence up to an action, then you take a limit, and the limit
Yes.
is fine.
exactly. That's why I'm allowed to do epsilon goes to 0. Yes, I need to take an action.
But yeah, up to zeroth order. I mean, a rev chord for gamma, yeah, the bits that are outside the surgery region are just rev chords for lambda. And then the ones that are inside follow geodesic flow on dn, and so those are just sort of straight line segments.
So, like maybe key point is you can get from any point to any other by the geodesic flow.
Yes. So yeah, that was a picture that I wanted to do, and I forgot. Yes, very good. Anyway. So when I before the surgery, you see, when I was following the wave flow, I was just moving the radial parameter, but I was not moving the point or anything. It was just this coordinate will move on air. When after the surgery, and that's why everything works, it's completely different. You move a lot more, because if you are here, what you follow is the geodesic flow. You can end up anywhere on the sphere, because you must think that this tangent vector is very small. So a very small perturbation of this tangent vector can go. If I perturb this tangent vector, I can go anywhere on the circle. So that's what allows me to close the word. So I have words, and I'm asking how to close it, and with just a small perturbation of a tangent vector, and I can get anywhere. So yes. So yes. Thanks.
Any other